Hello and welcome to this week's Think Tank. This week, Taylor, we're going through frequently asked questions in the sales field, and no better person here to answer the questions than Adam Botcher, our, what do you call it, Botch? God, of the Ipswich office. Taylor, fire away. Well, my answer to that, Taylor, is that as real estate agents, we're not there to guess the price. We do have an idea of what the property's worth, but to give a definitive answer on that one would be irresponsible. Our job is to get the absolute maximum we can for them, and we do that via either auction or private treaty and some really cleverly designed marketing packages.
Good question. And look, there's two ways you can sell your property. Obviously, you've got the traditional private treaty method where you list the property at a set price, or you've got the auction method, which is something that I think we probably do the majority of the time, and we do it better than most, certainly better than anyone locally. Both have pros and cons. But I guess it's down to the individual, and that's something when we sit down and discuss marketing with the owners, we'll talk through which the best method of sale suits their property. So there's not a one size fits all. It's tailored to the actual owner and the property itself. Well, look. Again, that comes down to the way that the property is marketed. If you price your property correctly to begin with, and you're realistic around price expectations, there's no reason why it shouldn't sell within that first 4-week period. That is the most crucial period. Your first 4 weeks are always going to be your busiest. Anything beyond that 4-week mark, your property becomes stale. The advantage of running an auction, for instance, is it's a 4-week campaign. So you're capitalising on that first 4-week period when buyer activity's going to be at its greatest. So how long should your property take to sell? Hopefully no more than 4 weeks.
Right now, that's the answer. If you're thinking of selling, the best time to sell is the moment you make a decision to sell. Typically you sell to buy in the same market. So if you're selling and buying in the same market, you don't go forward, you don't go backward. So as soon as you make the decision, pull the trigger and move on.
It comes down to the individual property, and it's something that we'll discuss with vendors face to face when we viewed the property. In some cases, improvements can be beneficial, but with anything in real estate, you want to maximise your return on investment. So if the improvements are going to result in getting you a better price, then we'll make those recommendations. More often than not, you're better off leaving the property as is, obviously doing what you can to make the property presentable, but you don't want to over-capitalise on certain improvements and not have that money come back to you at the end of the day. So very similar to the best way to sell my property. It's a tailored solution, and it's something you need to discuss with an experienced agent so they can point you in the right direction. Why should they list it with me? The reason they should list it with me is because my days on market, and we spoke about this earlier, are generally a lot lower than the competition. Some agents, for better or for worse, will list the property at an inflated figure and let the property sit there for an extended period of time. My goal is to sell your property as quickly as possible, for as much as possible in that crucial first 4-week period. And that comes from experience, that comes from being able to have direct and clear conversations. It comes from giving you feedback on where the market sees the property and not sugarcoating. We have a philosophy here at I Think Property that we don't collect listings. It's not about listing properties, it's about selling properties, and they're not antiques, we don't collect them. When we list the property with the intention of selling it, and that's why our list to sell ratios, you'll find, will be better than just about anyone else around.
Typically no, Taylor, unless you're our parents. We won't negotiate on fees. You didn't cut.
I didn't cut.
That's Adam. That's good. So look,
but it's actually higher.
That's a good job. You have to start. No negotiable on fees. Typically, Taylor, we set our fees at a very reasonable rate for both the seller and for us. That this is our job, and this is how we make a living. But in saying that, we also achieve excellent results. Our testimonials from our sellers confirm that, and our fees are very reasonable.
We pick up a lot of listings from agents that do discount fees, and 99% of the time, the first conversation we have with those vendors is that we haven't heard from our agent in 90 days. And often when the conversation around commission comes up, it's a very easy conversation for us to have around our commission, because you haven't heard from your agent charging 2% in 90 days. This is why you pay for somebody that's actually going to deliver a result, and that's why we charge more. I believe so. I think once your property goes to market, it's no longer your property. You're opening your property up to the general public. It's also, especially with an auction, the best way to create competition. Having multiple people through the property in a 30-minute period creates urgency, it creates competition. You can't achieve that as well with private inspections. So I think it's integral to run open homes and show off your property in its best light.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Do you think it's important that we invest in marketing when selling a house?
Oh, are you doing the thing?
Yeah, you're live.
You're live on.
Can you ask that question?
Ask that question out of answer.
Do we need to invest in marketing?
Yes, it's absolutely integral that you do invest in marketing. In 2020, there's more than one platform for which a property is advertised, and they all have their place. Many moons ago, the paper would have been the obvious choice and the signboard at the front, but with social media, realestate.com.au, Domain, all the other internet portals out there, it's integral. And if you're not on all of those platforms, you're eliminating potential buyers, because buyers come through all of those portals, and if you're not on them, your chances of reaching 100% audience are slim, and if you're not reaching 100% of your audience, then your chances of selling for the price you want decrease significantly. So it's absolutely vital that you invest in marketing.
So next week, Taylor, our think tank is going to go.
It's going to be FAQs in property management.
Excellent. Who's
So you guys
hosting?
off the hook.
Topic. Who's hosting?
Kylie and Christy.
Oh, that's a way better looking crew than ours.
You're off the
Subjective.
hook. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.